Anybody with $100,000 or more of investable assets, 53% of them are working with an advisor. That basically means that half of these people are not getting guidance. And I could not agree with you more. I think everyone should have some sort of professional direction. I mean, you have one chance to get this right.
So hi, welcome to Beyond the Paycheck. I'm Paula Christine. So today we're going to talk with Chris Cyr about how to choose a financial advisor and how to make sure that you have a good one. So welcome, Chris.
Hi, Paula. Thanks for having me today. Very excited to be on the show.
So I know that I was a financial advisor and you are currently one, and we've run across some good ones in our business, and then we've run across some not so good ones. And it's hard to know who to go to. But I understand you have a document that you give out for free that lists like a checklist, right, about what you want to look for.
That's correct.
When you're talking to a financial advisor?
I became a financial advisor after the 2008 financial crash. I was a CFO in the corporate world, and some people very close to me, and as it turns out, millions of other Americans ended up losing or at least delaying their retirement. And what I found out with people close to me is that they weren't set up with the right professional advisors. And that motivated me to get into a business that I could help people. I found that as Americans, we tend to be educated about a lot of things. Cars is a great example. And the analogy that I came up with very early in my career was driving down the main street in your town. And we have a Ford dealer, and we have a Chevy dealer, and we have a Toyota dealer. And as Americans, it's very intuitive that if we pull into that Ford dealer, what is he or she going to sell us? It's a Ford. We know what we're going to get. But as we're driving down that same road and we see financial place A and financial place B and C and D and E, we just have no clue actually what is in those four walls. And that is, I think, one of the biggest issues that I see in American retirement today, finding the right advisor. So I started the 5 to Ask document. It's basically 5 broad topics. And it was a 3-page document 10 years ago, and today it's grown into a 15-page document. It's the most downloaded free tool that we have because it's 15 pages of information. What to ask your advisor. What are the things you should know about in the industry? What are the questions that you should be asking? And most importantly, what are the answers perhaps that he or she should be giving you? So it's basically like how to interview a financial advisor 101. Yeah.
Uh-oh. There's a lot of advisors out there going, uh-oh.
Yeah, people are scared of it.
So, yeah, I'm sure. I know that, in my experience, I find that there's advisors that are good at helping you accumulate money. And then there's advisors that help you distribute that money at retirement. But finding the right person that you connect with and that it isn't, it's not about chasing returns or picking the right investment. To me, it's always been about having a plan and making sure that plan is going to come to fruition. Because if you don't, how do you know you're going to get from point A to point B? And I think a lot of advisors miss that whole planning part.
Absolutely. I think that the majority of the industry is getting compensated to help people accumulate money and try and attract people using returns as a great hook to talk to somebody about. But as you just said,
right.
Frankly, I think the day that somebody retires, we're celebrating, we're having a party, maybe we're having a drink, and we're just reminiscing about the last 40 years. But actually, that should be the day that you are the most scared, because you are about to enter the most dangerous time of your financial life, as you indicated. It's not about making money in retirement. That's just easy. Saving money is working hard,
right.
Saving your money, what you do on what I call the downhill planning. That is what's the most treacherous. But there's not necessarily a lot of money to be made by sitting down with somebody for 3 hours and helping them plan their social security strategy and how to spend their money. And so I believe that it's hard to find an advisor that actually wants to help in the area that is needed the most. So yeah, it's a problem in the industry without a doubt.
Well, I think that you find that advisor maybe in the beginning, like in your 20s and 30s, who's really good at helping you accumulate money. But that advisor may not be the person that you need, say, maybe when you hit 45 or 50, because the strategies will start to change. And then you want to find the advisor that specializes in income strategies and in tax strategies and helping you get to where that, nobody wants to wake up at age 85 and go, oops, I don't have any more money. So you want to make sure you have money for as long as you live.
It's about making your money last. It's about securing income in your retirement. I think it's funny when I look at the 500,000 or so advisors out there. I saw recently a study out there that says that 2/3 of them will offer some sort of planning, like you're describing. And so that right away, 1/3 is not. And of course, you have to filter through this 5 to ask document I was talking about earlier, filtering through who's a fiduciary, who's not. But of those 2/3 of advisors that say they're doing financial planning, if you're talking about complete planning, like maybe a certified financial professional, CFP, a financial planner, those types of in-depth, complex planning advisors, there's not a lot of them out there. I define a complex financial plan as somebody who's doing at least 15 or more things. And the investments to me are just really a side note. I think any advisor that is trying to give value by supposedly helping you with your investments, that there is definitely some value to be added there. But frankly, and you know this, Paula, just as well as I do, if we look over the last 120 years, the stock market just goes up. Goes up about 75, 78% of the time it goes up. And the bond market goes up as well. So there's really no value in investing. I love when I ask them, how is your advisor? Oh, he's great. Why is he great? Well, because my money's going up. Well, of course it's going up. And so is everyone else on your street, in your state, in the country. That complex planning is really where the value is at. So for sure, what you said is absolutely 100% correct. Don't you think? I mean, what do you think?
So what's the first? I agree. I think that the importance and for me, the importance has been looking at where somebody is today, making sure that we can get them at the most where they want to be in the most conservative way, and finding additional income sources versus just depending on investments, because there's a lot of different ways to generate income in retirement or even during your work years that have nothing to do with investments. So for me, it's always been about me sleeping at night and making sure that I don't wake up in a panic that I've done something that hasn't been in the best interest for my client. And the only way that I could do that was always making sure we had a plan, reviewing that plan every year, every time that we sat down together, and making sure that we were on track, and trying to do it by being as conservative as possible and not chasing returns. Because if I have to chase returns for you in retirement, then you shouldn't be retired.
Exactly. I couldn't have said it by myself. I think that putting safety first, income first, is at the forefront of true financial planning. Social Security is a great way to start, but the Social Security paycheck for most retirees represents about 40% of their need. And so I think taking a portion of the nest egg, as you said, and increasing that coverage that up to 80%, so that maybe 80% of our needs are covered by something that is going to last the rest of our lives, something that is going to maybe go up every year with inflation like Social Security does. And even best, maybe something that will continue to pay even if we pass away and our spouse survives us. Safety first. That's the magic to retirement. It's not the stock market, is it?
Correct. No, it's not. There's nothing to do with it. People say, do you watch the market every day? And I'm like, nope. And they're like, are you kidding me? And I'm like, no, I don't, because it doesn't really matter. It doesn't, what's happening today does not matter when you have the right income strategy that, money that you put out to be invested, because I think you need to have bonds, safe, relatively safe, because individual bonds, not bond funds, but CDs, maybe an annuity. I know that's a bad word sometimes in our business, but an annuity, and then some growth stocks. And the growth stocks are for money that you're going to need 10 or 15 years from now, because we need that to keep pace with inflation and taxation and all those things. But the money you need today, you need it to be relatively safe. You don't need to be selling in a down market to pull out money, because now you've got a big loss, because you're never going to recoup that. So yeah, it's a whole different strategy. I know we're talking about financial advisor, how to pick one, and now we're talking about strategies for retirement. We never
That's
stay
okay,
on top of it.
and you made me think of something, and it'll take 10 seconds, I promise. But yesterday was a great day for the market, just as a coincidence. And so I was very aware as an advisor that the market was doing well. But I can't tell you how many times people will ask me, how about the market yesterday? And frankly, half the time I don't know what the market did, because if you're doing your job right, it shouldn't matter. Yes,
it doesn't matter.
Sorry, go ahead.
I know. No, but that's funny, because people go, "Oh, do you know what happened in the market today?" And I'm embarrassed sometimes
Not
to go,
really.
"Nope." And they're like, "But," and I'm like, I don't know. It doesn't really matter when you have a plan in place. You just follow.
And that's what's missing. And everyone misses that. Most of Americans miss that. The thought process is the market is my retirement. No, if you picked the right advisor, the market is not your retirement. That's the biggest misconception.
Yep. Okay, so if you're giving, say, a 30-year-old, they're going to go out and look for a financial advisor, which I think everybody should have one,
Me too.
As soon as they start working. And I know in our business that a lot of people don't want them. They don't want them as clients because they have no money. But you can pay to have plans put together. Look for a planning advisor that just does fee-based plans and charges you to do that planning. But so give them, well, that's an advice right there, is find a fee-based plan.
Absolutely.
Find a fee-based plan. Yeah. But okay, besides that, what would be the number one thing you would be looking for?
As far as helping a younger person find an advisor?
Mm-hmm. What's the number one question they should ask?
The number one question they should ask is, will you give me a plan for the next 30 years until I retire that I can pay a single one-time fee for, that will help give me a roadmap to where I need to be? And maybe, yes, we might have to revisit this from time to time for another fee, but I don't want to have an advisor who's going to charge me for doing nothing, for managing my investments. That would be my number one suggestion to a 30-year-old. My daughter, I told her the same thing. She is 27, and I simply told her, save at least 10% of your money, put it into your 401k, have the allocation that advisor, in this case it's her father, gave you. Follow the plan that he gave you. You don't need to pay that advisor $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a year, and make sure that advisor is fiduciary, and even better yet, somebody who's a CFP, Chartered Financial Retirement Specialist, is
certified.
Another one. Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
Those are the two designations I like. But anyway, that would be my main advice.
I would agree with that. And meet with them. In that situation, you probably don't need to meet with them every year, but it'd be cool, just maybe even just a quick conversation. But every time there's something major happens in your life, if you lost your job, if you have a child, if you get married, anytime there's some sort of transition in your life, you need to sit down with an advisor and have that plan revised.
Yeah, the best analogy I gave my daughter was, you already have a car. You're getting from point A to point B. You don't need an Uber driver that you pay to get there. Now, you might need to stop, call for directions from time to time. To your point, if the bridge is out, maybe there's a little detour in your journey. But I would agree 100%. But don't go blind. You know that the average affluent American, and affluent is loosely defined as $100,000. So we're talking about millions and millions of Americans. Anybody with $100,000 or more of investable assets, 53% of them are working with an advisor. That basically means that half of these people are not getting guidance. And I could not agree with you more. I think everyone should have some sort of professional direction. I mean, you have one chance to get this right.
But I think people will say they're working with an advisor, but that might be, and nothing against what the people that I'm going to talk about, nothing against them at all. But it might be that financial advisor that comes in and just sits down and talks to you about your 401k at the annual 401k
Which is
meeting.
Really no direction at all, is it?
Yes. Yes.
How many times have I heard somebody come into my office, well, do you have a financial advisor? No. But there's this guy that comes into the HR department and talks with us once a year for 15 minutes. Well, what did he help you with? Nothing. Generally speaking, yes, there's some good ones out there. Yeah. You can't talk bad about people, but that's not advice.
No, I'm not. I'm not talking bad about them at all, but that's not the type of person that we're talking about that you want to look for. You want to look for that planner.
Sit down. What's your goals? What's your budget? What's your job look like? What do you plan to do with your family? What does the next 30 years look like? Let's sit down for 2 or 3 hours and let's put together something solid. Yeah. Agreed.
Oh, and what happens if you get disabled and what happens if you die?
Great. All these things are important. And are you going to send your kids to college? How many kids are you going to have? What kind of college do you think you're going to send them to?
Well, if you start asking that question, as expensive as, I can't get those words out, as expensive as college is, you probably wouldn't have children.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Or just one.
I had 3 of them. So.
Okay, so we're at that 15-minute mark. Look at us. We're doing better today.
I feel like you should make your shows longer, because I would just love to talk to you for a long time. But okay, we're done.
That's okay, because we're gonna record an episode again. Okay. So another one. Okay, so how does somebody get your document about how to find a financial advisor?
So because the document is called 5 Topics to Discuss with Your Financial Advisor, we found a little website that we thought was easy. It's www.5toask.com. That's the number 5, TOASK.com. And you do have to give something for it. You have to give an email address so I can email it to you, but that's it.
Okay, sounds perfect to me.
Very good.
I will download it myself.
Good.
Okay, so I'm going to say goodbye, and then we're going to come back and record another episode about retirement and the 3 mistakes. We're only going to do 3. Okay. I know you have 10, but we're only going to do 3 mistakes about retirement. So I'm going to say goodbye for this week, and then we will be back with you next week on a different topic.
Paula, thanks,
Chris, for joining us.
It was really a pleasure. So thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye. Okay, so if anybody wants to get a hold of me, you can reach me at paula@paulachristine.com, or you can check out my website at paulachristine.com. There's some resources there that you can look and download for yourself. Okay, thanks, Chris.
Bye-bye.